Endless Mittens if you live in a cold weather environment or visiting a cold place and you see a pair of upcycled sweater mittens. If they are fleece lined, you want them to be fleece lined, get them because they will keep you super warm. But it's been very chilly on my walks with the dogs each day in the mornings, so I've been wearing them, but this one has not fared well over the last year and a half, and my thumb is poking out there, this hole here, so I'm just going to mend them up while we chat today. So I hope that's okay. I hope that's okay with you. Maybe if you have some mending to do, or if you want to like color or multitask while we chat, that would be great. I do a lot of that when I watch these chatty, rambly ASMR videos. I like to listen to them while I crochet or paint or things like that. So, before we jump into chatting about our week and weekend, why don't we go ahead and light a candle to set the tone for our time together. I think I say this every week, but I need to clean this candle or get my other one, but I just don't do it. Hopefully you don't mind too much. But this is my cinnamon chai candle, and I just love the scent. It's so cozy, and I love the crackling wood wick. Oh, it's so good. So we'll go ahead and light that. I kind of jumped right in here, and I didn't ask you about your week and your weekend. How was it? I hope that you found some calm in your week and that it went well for you. And if it did not go well for you, I'm so sorry, and I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're finding a little bit of peace in our time together today. My own week was pretty good, but, kind of full of ups and downs. I'll tell you all about it shortly. So I am looking forward to this time with you to just sort of unpack it all and relax and just sort of have a calm moment together. So I'll put that there for us to enjoy while we chat. Let's see, where's my little sewing kit? Oh, it's right here. This is my sewing kit. I have probably had this since high school. I have no idea. This is an old, I believe it's like a Crystal Light container. I don't even know if they sell Crystal Light like this anymore because I don't really drink it, but this was back a long time ago. They would sell, I'm guessing there was powder in here. It was like the old aspartame Crystal Light, and I would mix it with my water. But I use this as a container, and then in here is just all of my thread. It's mostly little threads like this because there's only so much of each color. I mostly just do mending. This is my little mending sewing kit. And then I have like a dark color in this big one because if you did dark, actually I'll probably use that today. And then all my needles are just sort of stuck in there. But this is my sewing kit. It's very fancy. You can't buy it on Amazon, guys. You can't. Okay, so I need to find a new home for all these needles because I only need one needle. But let me start telling you about my week. And if you would like to tell me a little bit about your week, I would love to hear about it. I love reading about in the comments about what you all have been up to and some of your highs and lows for the week. So please don't hesitate to share that with me. You know what I did forget was a pair of scissors. It's okay. I can probably just break was pretty quick. But in fact, I didn't do like the annual labs that they do, like the blood tests for cholesterol and all that jazz. I didn't do it last year because I had done it the year before, and she was like, it all looks good. And she was like, do you want to do it again this year? And I was like, well, not really. I'm terrible too, like when they give you the form for the labs, I have a tendency to like not go until basically before my next physical, because you have to go fasted at 6 in the morning, and it's not a priority, I guess. But anyway, she was looking at all of my numbers from the previous time, and she was like, honestly, has your diet changed? Has this changed? And I'm like, oh, things have only gotten better, luckily, on my end, on what I can do. And she was like, well, then I wouldn't really worry about it. So I'm taking another year off from doing the labs, but like everything else looked good, and all was well. I do get like a mammogram each year. Okay, so I have a hole in the fleece side, so I'm going to sew that first. But these are the best mittens. They truly do keep they're kind of bulky, that's the only problem, but it's worth it because they keep my hands so warm when I walk the dogs, even in like the dead of winter. So anyway, that was my Monday morning, and then that afternoon I had my second daughter, my freshman in high school. She's terrible at putting her laundry away. Like, she does her own laundry, but then it just sits in baskets in her room, and she picks up the basket, and it drives me bananas. But I was at the point where I had no more laundry baskets, and I was like, honey, you need to do this. And I had been asking her to do it for so long that finally I was like, listen, why don't you and I buckle down? We'll just do it together. We can do it so fast. I was like, I'll show you my system. Maybe you can like pick up a pointer or two from it, and then it won't be such a daunting task for you. So anyway, I was upstairs with her, helping her do that on Monday afternoon, and I didn't have my phone with me or anything. And I come downstairs after helping her with that, and I had missed like a bunch of phone calls from my daughter, from the school, from her coach, and I was like, no, what is this? So I immediately call back, and I get her coach her coach had texted me too, and been like, so she had sent me a text and said, your daughter's has a little injury. She had dislocated her shoulder at the end of, or in the middle of last year's volleyball season, and it was absolutely crushing for her to have missed the last half of her first year on varsity, and she was doing like so great. It was awful, and the whole team actually started getting injured after that, and like things went haywire. So I think her coach has a little like PTSD, and she was like, oh my gosh. And when she dislocated her shoulder, it was in the middle of a game. It was terrifying. It was awful. Her arm was like dangling. It was terrible. So anyway, she recovered from that. We did physical therapy, all the things. She's been like so on top of things. So I was like, and it was the same arm in the same area, but I immediately went to the school, and the school doesn't have great service, so I was calling them and then sending them texts being like, I'm on my way. So I get to her, and of course at that point she was crying, which I guess she wasn't crying when it happened or anything, but I think she was mostly disappointed and angry. But her coach was great. She was like, I'm not worried yet. It's okay. We're going to go to the doctor. Go to the doctor, figure out what's going on. Don't stress. We're not. My daughter insisted that she didn't dislocate it. So we were like, okay, well, let's get it checked out or whatever. So, and it was weird. It was like same arm, same area. But she was like, it's not my shoulder. It's like inside. So anyway, she has an orthopedist because of when she dislocated her shoulder, so I got an appointment with them the next day. And I took her to the doctor's, and it is, in fact, she did not dislocate her shoulder. It was just a tricep tear. So that was great news. And they just said, shoot, I really wish I had a pair of scissors here. But they basically said, don't use your teeth, guys. Don't ever use your teeth for your teeth are not tools. Don't do what I do. But they said, rest it, and it's pretty self-limiting. So as soon as she's feeling like it's good and 100%, then she's good to go. So she took the week off from practicing, and this week she says that it feels fine. It's so hard with kids when they're passionate about their sport, though, because you don't know, do you truly feel fine, or are you saying that so you can play? But I do think she doesn't want to injure it further, so I do think that it probably truly is feeling okay. So she's going to ease into, I'm just moving on to this sweatery part here. She's going to ease back into practices this week. I feel like I'm going to need more thread than this, but I'll use what I have here for now. And their playoff schedule has not been released yet, but it is coming out soon, so hopefully she'll be back at it and just fine for playoffs. But she is being careful. Her coach is being super careful. She ended up giving the entire team off, the entire week off. She was going to do practices that week because they had a week before playoffs, and she was like, just everybody rest, get your work done, whatever. I think she really didn't want anybody else to get injured. It's tough at the end of the season. It's like everybody's been playing so hard and so much that's when, at least last year, that's when the injuries started to pop up. So she was like, I'm not messing around. We're gonna take some time, everybody rest, recover, and then we'll get back to it. So hopefully this coming week everybody is in tip-top shape. So anyway, that was scary, but it ended up being okay. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, for sure. It was the best of news probably that we could have had. So there was that. I did end up missing my painting class on Tuesday this week because her appointment was during that time. So I actually haven't painted since the week before. But it is what it is. Maybe I'll get some painting in this weekend, or this week before my next class. Let's see here, what else? I was at, her appointment, the office that the doctor that she sees was at, I have to end this and add a little bit more thread, was 40 minutes away from our house. So, we drove out there, and it happened to have a Michael's right next door, and we had a little bit of time to kill, so I went into the Michael's, and I grabbed some yarn for another project. I'm such a project hopper, but that's okay. I'm getting things done, but I'll show you what I'm working on in a second. I think I mentioned last week that I was working on a granny square sweater after that bag, and I actually finished the sweater last night. I was so excited. I was excited to wear it today. I think it's so cute, but I finished it, and then I went to try it on, and the trim in the front, so it has trim that goes all along the collar. It's a cardigan. I don't know what happened, but my trim went like this, and then all of a sudden on one side it started to get wide. And I was like, oh, I could ignore it, or I could, when I block it, I could stretch, the other side more. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm excited about this sweater. I want it to be done, as well as I possibly can for my current skill level. So I ended up taking out the trim along that line, along that area, and redoing it. So I didn't finish it redoing it yet, so I unfortunately just have a tiny bit left to do on that sweater, but I'm almost done. And I am still working on my blanket, my brown blanket, but I have been enjoying doing granny squares so much because when I'm working on my blanket, it's getting so big that it's kind of a bulky project to like have out and about with me. So I was thinking it would be fun to make a really colorful granny square, a large granny square blanket. I'll show you in a second the ones I've done so far, but like essentially like a blanket that's made out of a bunch of little, like bigger squares than what I did for my bag or my sweater, but so that way all you have to do is bring the stuff to make the squares around with you, and then once it's all done, once you have all your squares done, you can assemble them into a blanket. So I'm going to be sort of working on 2 blankets at the same time. This is not my best sewing job, but it's going to get the job done. So I'll show you those in a minute when I'm done with this, but that I did get a bunch of fun yarn colors. I really liked that, the yarn I used for my sweater too. It's the Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn. It was nice to work with, and it's really soft. I'm not sure how it wears. I guess I won't know that until I wear my sweater a bit, but I think for a blanket, it'll be good. And they still had a really good sale going on, so I got a bunch of good fun colors. Alright, I'm just tying off this section, and then I do have another hole. This one, I don't know. I guess this is my right hand, and I'm right-handed, so it got pretty beat up. But let's see, the rest of my week. On Wednesday, I was feeling like a little out of sorts. My house felt chaotic. Like, do you ever get to moments where it's not that the house is like not clean, although it probably wasn't clean either, but like there was just like stuff where it doesn't belong. The piles, like things that you walk by, things that you put somewhere and you're like, I'll deal with that later, and you walk by it like a million times, and then you like don't notice it anymore. I started to realize I had more of those than I feel comfortable with. So I was like, alright, I gotta like buckle down here and just spend some time sort of like resetting the house, if you will. So I ended up doing a little video. Actually, I filmed myself because I was like, this will be really good accountability. And I was like, I'm just going to do like a 1-hour reset. It's hard for me to see, this is black, hold on. Doing like a 1-hour reset. It actually turned into something longer, like maybe an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours, I don't know, I forget. I haven't edited the video because I did the video, I just sort of filmed us going along and taking care of business. I had a list of things that needed to be tackled in my house, and I don't know, I haven't gone to edit it yet if it's going to be too like chaotic and stressful for an ASMR video. But I was hoping that it would be like more of like a calming clean up with me type video, so that if you are ever in a situation where you're like, I need to like tackle some house projects, it's one of those things you can sort of like body double put on, and we can like clean the house together, tackle our junk drawers together, whatever it is that you need to do. But I did do that, and it felt really good afterwards. I got a lot done, a lot of like just things that needed to get checked off the list, you know. So did that on Wednesday. I don't really remember the rest of the week. I'm trying to think of some of the dinners I made. I know you all enjoy hearing about the dinners. I know I made orange chicken one night. I did my like stir-fried chicken, teriyaki stir-fry one night. I did like a ground turkey with the Trader Joe's Autumn Harvest pasta sauce. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I did that, and then I made spaghetti squash for myself, and then I made pasta for the rest of my family. I love spaghetti squash. With that meal, I feel like it's such a good, like, veggie-laden meal. So that, and then like fresh Parmesan on top. Oh, it was so good. I also made a pasta salad for myself for the week. Oh, you know what it was? I had done a charcuterie for my daughter's volleyball team the week before, and I had tons of leftover like cubed cheese and salami from that charcuterie. So I was like, it's kind of a summery dish, but I love a good pasta salad. So I just did like pasta, just penne is what I had. I cut up the cheese cubes smaller, cut up the salami, did bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, all diced. What else did I put in there? Oh, pepperoncini peppers, and then just Italian dressing. And then I took some shredded chicken and mixed that in there too, just for some extra protein. And I ate that for lunch every day. So it was like a yummy, easy lunch to just scoop into a bowl. I think I'm done with these mittens. Let's see here. Yes. So then on, let's see, Friday night, we had our friends of ours, and these friends from town that live in town with us. They are these cute. Here, I'll show you. So this is like a sweater they must have got, like, I don't know, at a thrift store or something. And then these are sweaters. So it's just like upcycled sweater pieces. And then this is probably a piece of a sweater as well. Just all different pieces of sweater. They make mittens and then they line them. There's several people around us who make these. So at like local craft fairs, we can always find them, but they're fantastic. So anyway, our local friends, every year they host a haunted house at their house. And it is not just like any old haunted house. It is like the most elaborate, most impressive, just this incredible, terrifying haunted house. And every year it's different, and every year it's themed. It goes like in through their garage, out their backyard, through the backyard, into their house. Like it's long, so you're like walking through. Like one year it was like an escape room type thing. One year it was like a laboratory. This year it was vault 36, 46, I don't know. It's something that you all may know or have heard of, but I don't know if it's from like a show or a movie or something like that, but it was like Vault 46 or something like that. I don't know, but it was awesome. It was awful. It was awesome and awful at the same time. I do not like scary things. I don't like scary movies. I hate jump scares. I hate it when people jump out and scare me. So like haunted houses are not my jam, and I would never normally go in a haunted house, but because these are our friends and the creativity and the acting and all of that, and like the community just all gets involved. There's like tons of people who volunteer to participate and be part of it each year. So it's like I have to go to appreciate like the amazing hard work that's been put into this and how good it is. But it's so scary. So like we went with my kids, and then a bunch of their friends came with us. And so they take you in through groups of 6. And everybody wanted my husband to go with them to like protect them. And I was like, no, he has to go with me. And I had to be like sandwiched between 2 people because I was like, oh, this is so scary. But I did survive it. It was terrifying. I did have to go through like the last half. I ended up doing this and like like shuffling my feet because I just couldn't take it anymore. It was quite terrifying, but it was fun. And then that night afterwards we came home. All of my daughters, my oldest daughter, all of her friends sleep over. They sleep over every weekend, but they all slept over that night. And then it sounds like metal because it's an ember mug. It's like one of those mugs that keeps your coffee hot because I'm not good at drinking my coffee fast. So the next day, I can't remember the rest of Saturday night, so I'm just gonna skip ahead. Saturday, my youngest daughter, had a soccer game. It was like an hour and a half away, and I was like, I don't want to do this. But it was like really cold in the morning too, and I was like, I'm gonna go freeze at a soccer field. But in true New England fashion, the sun came out, and it was like the most gorgeous day, and I was like, wow, you really couldn't ask for a better day to be sitting and watching soccer. So it was nice, and like the drive out there was really nice. It was like all back roads, and so we had our soccer game, and then that afternoon we did pumpkin carving at my mother-in-law's. I'll try to post a picture here I'm not sure where. I'll post a picture of the pumpkins that the kids made. They did, let's see, one of my daughters did a dinosaur. My son, what did he do? He might have just done like a jack-o'-lantern. I can't remember. My husband made a golden retriever. It came out really good. One of my daughters, meanly, she did her sister. So she carved a picture of her sister, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute and sweet. But like, I think she was doing it to be annoying. It came out kind of good. And then, what was the last one? Oh, my youngest daughter, she did a really good. She did one with like a silhouette of a squirrel with a leaf. It came out really cute. So I'll post a picture of those in this video. So I did that, and then let's see, that night was pretty calm. We were home. My youngest daughter had a sleepover. She had a new friend sleepover. She started middle school this year. So it's actually a friend that she's known through sports for years, but they get to see each other at school now. So she came over for sleepover. It was actually like the best sleepover we've ever had. These kids were like, they were so good and so quiet. And I was like, I want you in bed by 11. And by 11, they had already washed up, brushed their teeth, gotten in bed. Like, I didn't have to ask them or remind them. They were quiet. They were great. My oldest daughter's friends all slept over that night again, too. They went back to the haunted house and hung out with friends there. And then they all came back and slept over. But they went to bed, I think, early, too. They were a quiet bunch. They're always like, they sleep in the basement, so I don't hear them much. But overall, I mean, you wouldn't have known we had an extra, I don't know, 9 kids here. Oh, and then also that night, my son slept over at his friend's house, which this is new for him. He's very much always been a homebody. He's always been very attached to his mom. And like up until this past summer, he had never even slept at a grandparent's house. So he's very particular about how he likes his sleeping situation and who he likes to be with. But the past few weeks, he has been like, being a little bit more relaxed, and which is great. It's good for him as he's growing up. But he had friends sleep over at our house one night, which was great. They were wonderful. And then he had a sleepover at a friend's house a couple weeks ago, and then he asked again if he could sleep over this week, and it went well. I'm shocked that he all of a sudden is like such a big kid. But I guess that's good for him. So it's just funny, like, he's always the one that I was like, he's so particular and so set in his ways. So it's nice to see him sort of relax a little bit. And then on Sunday, we had, let me think here, we had a calm morning. And then in the afternoon, we had friends come over to watch F1 racing, which is not my thing, but it's my husband's thing. So, but lots of times people will come over and just hang out in the barn used to live with. So when my husband and I first moved in together, when was this? Almost 22 years ago. He had a roommate at the time, and so we all lived together. And then his girlfriend, the roommate's girlfriend, now his wife, would come every weekend because they lived in different states. And he was in law school, so he would be with us for the week, and then she would come for the weekend, or he would go with her for the weekend. And we lived together for quite a while. We actually, my husband and I, ended up buying another condo and moving out one summer into the condo, and we took him with us. We didn't even tell him. It's so funny looking back at the things you do, but we didn't even tell him. We were we bought a place, we moved in, and we just moved there and moved him into the extra bedroom too. We were it's fine, he'll just move with us. So anyway, they live in another state, and they have kids, and they're very busy, and so we don't get to see each other that much. And so they happened to be up in the area, and they were well, we'll stop by. And so they came over for a few hours and hung out, and it was so fun to see them and catch up. But that was pretty much our weekend, I think. My daughter had basketball evaluations that night, so I ended up taking her for evals. But anyway, that was our weekend. It was good. I mean, there's ups and downs throughout the whole week, but overall, a good week, I would say, for me. I'll show you these granny squares. I actually have these in front of me, so I'm just jumping all around here. I'm sorry. But these are they're bigger granny squares like this. I haven't weaved in the ends, so just ignore those. Pretend you don't see all the yarn pieces. But it's really fun to pick out the different colors as you go. There's no rhyme or reason to the color scheme. You can just here, I'll put that there. Pick out all the different colors and crochet a big square. And then I like this one. And then afterwards you combine them, and you just will have this big, beautiful, colorful blanket. So I think that's really fun. I'm excited to work on that. And it's, there's no pressure on this one. It's just kind of work on it when I have time. If I have little bits of thread, of yarn too, it's nice because you can do you need very little for this. I am using all of the same kind of yarn though, so all of the same brand, because I just like the consistency of the feel of the blanket. But it's the same kind that I used for my sweater, so I can use those the pieces, the amount of yarn that I can use that yarn that I have left over for this blanket as well. So anyway, that's just another crochet project that I'm working on. I'm loving crocheting. So right now though, my only whip, it's called a work in progress. I only have 2 works in progress. Well, I guess 3. So my sweater, which I will be done with today. So I'm not really counting that, because as soon as I finish up that trim and block it, I'll be done with it, and I'm so excited to wear it. Hopefully you'll see me in it maybe next weekend when we chat. My brown blanket, which I am working on, but that's really become a couch project because it's becoming so big. It's tough to tote around with me. And then these granny squares here. So I will have to come up with, actually I already know what I'm going to be working on next. I want to start making some Christmas presents for people, small things, maybe some crocheted bookmarks, and other little things like that. But I think it'd be fun to be able to give handmade gifts out this Christmas season, so I will start working on those. But let's see here. Should we do some Q&A? Maybe just one card. We'll see. I think I always say one card and I end up doing 2, but let's see here. I did drop this on the floor this week, and my cards got all mixed up. So I have no idea if we'll have a repeat card or not. I'll try to find one that is fresh and new for us though. So just pulling from the front here. I think I have this. I have done that one before. Okay, I'm gonna pull from like the middle. Pulling from the middle here. Let's see. I don't think I have done this before. Okay, do you play any instruments? No. I tried to play I played the saxophone when I was a kid. But I couldn't play that now. I tried to learn guitar. I took guitar lessons last year, 2 years ago, for the whole year, and I am so bad at it. It does not come naturally to me at all. And I haven't picked up the guitar in probably, I don't know, maybe almost a year now. I don't even know if I could do any of the things that I learned in my lessons. I really wish I could play the guitar, but I can't. So anyway, I don't play any instruments. I played the bells. I played the bells last Christmas time with my kids. We had these cute little bells and we learned songs on the bells. Does that count? Okay, number 2. If you found a magic lamp and the genie inside granted you 3 wishes, what would your wishes be? My wishes would be that my children and family remain healthy and safe. That would be my number 1 wish. Keep them healthy and safe throughout their lives. I don't know what my other wishes would be. I would wish for happiness for my children in their lives, that they grow up and have a full and happy life, whatever that looks like for them. And I don't know what my last wish would be. I feel like health and happiness are like the doozies. Are you allowed to wish for that? If it had to be like superficial things, maybe like I wish I could play the guitar, or I wish for I don't know, something really superficial. What would be something? Oh, like I would wish for like a really extravagant, one really amazing extravagant trip every year, where like money and time were no object. Those would be like my superficial wishes, I guess. Or like I would wish that my dogs could live forever, or live as long as I live. Okay. Number 3, if you could live on any planet, which one would it be? I'm assuming this like doesn't include Earth, because I would like to stay here on Earth, but if I could live on a different planet, where did the Jetsons live? Did they live on a planet, or did they just lived in space, right? I think I would do that. I would like to live where the Jetsons live. Are you scared of spiders? I mean, like, I don't like them. I would say yeah. I'm not like terrified of them, but I don't enjoy them, and I don't take care of them on my own. I usually call my son or my husband over to deal with it. So yeah, I don't like creepy crawly things. What is your silliest dance move? I'm not gonna do a dance move because I'm sitting down right now, but I will tell you a funny story about dance moves. When I was I must have been like 22 or 23, 24, I don't know. And my husband and I would go out to like, we were just dating at the time. He was my boyfriend, but we would go out to like bars and clubs or whatever and go dancing. We used to do this thing. I think it was just me who did it, and I made everybody around me do it too. But we would do bad dancing, and we would all go around in a circle and be like, what's like the worst dance move you could do? And you have to do like the bad dance move, and then everybody else would have to do bad dancing too. So they would have to copy your stupid move. And it was like my favorite game to play when we were out dancing. It'd be like, okay, let's do bad dancing, and I would do some like stupid move, and then everybody would have to copy you and do the stupid move. But I still love that. I should do that. We should pull out the bad dancing sometime. It's been a long time. Okay, have you ever won a trophy? or a medal? Have you ever won a trophy or a medal? I have won trophies and medals for participation. Like, I've done triathlons and, I've been involved in sports my whole life. I don't think I've ever won a trophy or a medal that wasn't earned collectively on a team or just for participating. So, like, I have some medals, but they're from being part of, like, just completing a triathlon or a race or something like that. So, I think that is good for questions for today. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you want to answer any of those questions. I would love to hear, let's see here. I would love to hear, actually, if you were granted 3 wishes. What would they be? That's a really hard question, because you don't want to pick the wrong thing. But I would love to hear, like, if you were granted 3 wishes. I know I feel like everybody says they would wish for more wishes, but you can't do that. Or, like, wish for maybe money or something like that. But I feel like what I would really want, if I could wish for anything, it would be that my children, my family, remains healthy and safe. And I would want happiness and fulfillment for my children as they go through their adult lives eventually. I mean, of course, you still have to have